I'm Sorcie Elle, and here I have some questions from you that I'm going to be answering today. What inspires you the most? Great question. I would say I find opportunities to turn something difficult or a challenge into something positive, times of pain, times of struggle, into something beautiful. I've noticed when I go through something and I turn it into a song, it changes that situation from being very painful and overwhelming into something that I can not only manage, but something that can bring me joy and can bring other people joy. Describe your creative process. Well, I think it's evolved over the years. Definitely has. When I was younger, my creative process would be very emotional, and it would be very intense and impulsive. So if I was going through something and I had big emotional reaction to it, sometimes a song would just happen in a way. That's what happened with Gilded Desert, is I was having a lot of deep emotions about something, and then within a few hours all of the lyrics were all put together. And I wouldn't always know how to recapture that process. As much as I wanted to make more music, it was a bit of a mystery to me how songs would come together. It seems like I would just write them without a lot of the planning process. And of course, when I wanted to make more music, I had to capture that process and structure it a little bit more and streamline it. So now I have certain times that I work on songwriting, and I set a space aside for myself for that creativity to flow. There's such a balance in the creative process between having enough structure to create music, but having enough freedom to feel like you can just experience those emotions and just create. Why is music important to you? Music is important to me because it's absolutely necessary for me to be happy. It's a way that I express my emotions. It's where the intensity that I crave comes from. There's just so many things that I love about it, and there's different elements to creating music. There's the performance aspect, and then the organization aspect that you have to have, but also the freedom to create. I just love everything about it, and it's become a very important part of my life. So music is important to me, not just because I enjoy it, but also because it's necessary for me. I feel like it's as necessary as anything else that I need in my life. What is the biggest musical challenge you've overcome? That's a very interesting one. It is definitely stage fright, and I can't say that I've really overcome it necessarily. I've just learned to live with it. It's just part of any performance. It's part of this performance right here, this interview. It's part of being on stage, and I've just come to accept it as another form of excitement, because performing is very exciting. So yeah, I'd say stage fright. I've come as close to overcoming it, I think, as possible by just accepting it. What musical advice would you give yourself at 16? Oh, wow. At that time, I was definitely dreaming about being a musician one day. I had just gotten my first guitar not too long before, but there were also so many changes in my life at the time that I was still not thinking of myself as a musician fully and completely the way that I do now. And so I would tell myself to lean on music a lot more for the things that I needed in life, to really have music be my place that I could just express myself freely, and a place that I could take whatever pain that I was going through and make it into something positive. Is there any scent that reminds you of a song? That's really interesting. I would say holiday songs definitely associated with, peppermint and cinnamon, and I think everyone feels that way about holiday songs. But I would also say that there's like a specific kind of tea. There's a tea scent that reminds me of the Harry Potter soundtrack. because I love the Harry Potter soundtrack. It's one of my favorites when I was a kid. And I remember that I used to love chamomile tea, and that I would drink that before I went to sleep sometimes. And it reminds me of just watching the movies and, you know, being a kid and listening to that soundtrack. How did you begin your musical journey? I always remember being on a musical journey, even when I was really little. I always loved singing, and I remember being 8 years old and drawing pictures of myself as a lead singer in a band. So I feel like my life journey and my musical journey are very much intertwined, and they have always existed together. If you have any other questions you'd like me to answer, go ahead and put them in the comments. Thank you so much. This is Sorcie Elle.